and thank you for joining us for this edition of the Cardinal Beat podcast. Joining us today is head volleyball coach Christy Benner. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You've been here for quite a while, I understand.
Yes.
18 years?
Yes, 18th season.
That's a good stretch. But I think the most important thing we should talk about is that you won a free year of Buffalo Wild Wings in Moundsville this past summer.
Yes, we did. In the big city of Moundsville, the BW3s is an entity there, and it closed down for about 3 months and for renovations. So when they decided to open up, they were going to give away free wings. And we thought, free wings? And the morning they were giving it away, I guess there were people standing in line all night. And my husband Matt and I drove by, and there were a few people outside, and we thought, let's just go and see what happens. And we got in line, and we were the 99th and 100th person. And they were giving 100 people free wings for a year.
So speaking of your husband, I understand he also coaches with you. Tell me about that dynamic that you guys have on the court.
Well, I think, I don't think of it a whole lot anymore just because we've done it for so long. And he was actually a volunteer here prior to me coming aboard. And the athletic director then, Jay DeFruscio, hired him as an interim head coach because we didn't have a coach then, back in 2001, I believe, a long time ago. And he has a real job, I guess you would say, a full-time job. And he talked to Coach DeFruscio and was like, "Can my wife and I do it together?" And they were like, "Okay, well, we'll see how this goes." And 18 years later, 570 wins later, here we are, national championship, everything. So it has been just a ride that has been just an amazing opportunity for us and our families. We're from the area, so we've been blessed.
Wow, very neat. And speaking of that national title, tell us a little bit about that, the 2015.
Yes, so 2015 was a very special year, and we had a group of seniors come in, well, a recruiting class in 2013, and we knew right away that we might have something very special. And we were always, we had been doing well, making it to the NCAA tournament, going to the Elite Eight, and just knocking on the door. And we realized how not easy it was, but when you got to that level that anybody could win it. You just had to have a little bit of luck and have a good team. And that year, that group went to the Final Four. And we actually thought, we can do this with a couple more pieces. And then 2 years later, we dominated our region, went to Tampa, and it just kind of worked out where we were familiar with two of the teams we were going to play. We had either a pass with them or had played them that year, and we felt very confident. And we went into the first round and lost our first set, and then never looked back and didn't lose another set. And it was pretty amazing for a small town, small school from the East Coast to win, a championship. And it was something that we could bring back to the area, to the community, to the people that have supported us, and all the alum that have gone through it and helped us build to that pinnacle, I guess. And it's definitely something we want to get back to, and we would like to bring another one home, but it was something that we can always be a part of. We have a great group of girls that support us still from that team, and it was an amazing and magical year.
I understand you have an alumni, is it weekend coming up for volleyball?
Yes.
Well, tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, we don't have a lot of home games at the end of the year. We travel a lot, but one of our last Saturday home games, we're going to celebrate our seniors that we have this year. And then we are also going to tie it in and do our alumni weekend. We have matches on Friday night and Saturday. So the alum can come to either game, and we'll usually do something special. We have a little dinner after our match on Saturday, and we'd like all the alum to come back and just join in on Saturday. And we're even going to get out on the court and maybe play some No Mercy, one of our drills that everybody loves, and just play around. And for those who want, and those who don't want can just watch or shag balls or something.
Very cool.
Yeah.
This season, tell us about the group of girls that you have and what is your projection?
Yeah. So I never like to look ahead, but my projection and our coaching staff's projection is always to win. That's our number one priority, is to put a team together to be, successful on the court and, in the classroom. And this group is very talented. We're a small group. We have 12 this year, but we have the girls that came back from last year. We had 10, and we added 2 new girls. And those players are committed. They have one thing on their mind, and that's going to the national stage. And we've been very up and down this year with just, having some injuries and some tough times early on with, we faced some top 25 teams and narrowly lost to the 3 of them, and those are our 3 losses. So we've been on a little bit of a run. It hasn't been easy at all. I think every team that comes in here to play or plays us gives us their A game, and we expect that, but it's not easy day in and day out. No matter what the team's record, they're always going to give us a battle. So looking ahead, we just have to take one game at a time, and I know that's kind of coach speak, but that's what we do, one day at a time, try to get enough rest for these 12 girls that are playing a lot of minutes, and train them right and take one opponent at a time. But we expect to win, and we want to win more than anything.
How do you recruit? Just give us a little background. Where do you find this talent year after year, it seems?
Being so close to Pennsylvania and Ohio, and being from the area, a lot of our contacts to begin with were in Ohio. So that's where we started venturing back in 2002 and 2003. Our first group of girls really came mostly from Ohio. So I started building ties there, and Ohio is very rich in volleyball. They start them very young. It's a very, Midwest is great with volleyball recruiting. So Ohio is and Pennsylvania both are just really good in volleyball, and I can get to either side very quickly. And for Ohio, I can get anywhere in 4 hours, and it's close enough to where players can get home if they need to, but far enough away where they feel they're getting that college experience and they're away from home a little bit. So definitely Ohio, but then we've kind of ventured out. My 2 new girls, one's from Colorado, one's from Nevada, and we have a West Virginia girl on the team. So we definitely are branching out, and I love that. I love to get the word out about Wheeling, and would love to get more West Coast and South girls to come and play.
What can we look forward to as far as big games and tournaments that you have planned?
Yeah, so at this point in the year, you're coming down at the end of the season, and every match matters for conference tournament, for regional rankings, and that positions us for the end of the year tournaments and what we want to do and what our goals are. So every conference match is very important, and it's a region match and conference, so it implicates both our conference tournament and the regional tournament. We have some home games that are coming up that will be important, and as well as we finish out the conference schedule on the road, and that's always difficult, especially when you're playing back-to-back and you're playing teams that are vying for the conference tournament. So we hope to be able to host the conference tournament here and the regional tournament here. Those are 2 of our goals. It might not happen, but it might too, and I hope that if we do, we'll have the crowd support just like normal, and it'll be a great atmosphere in here. Wheeling always does a great job.
I have a couple unique personal questions for you, supplied by the sports information director here. He has here that you keep peppermint lifesavers near the bench at all times.
They're actually wintergreen. Quite a few years ago, I just stopped chewing gum. I don't know, I just and I wanted a mint, and I found these wintergreen mints. My father-in-law had them, and I thought, oh, these are strong, and then I thought, oh, these are good. So I started handing them out at practices, and I would bring them to practices, and I would bring this big case into the matches and set it on the scores table. And last week I didn't have the case out there, and the officials said, where are your lifesavers? Because I'm very regimented, I wouldn't say superstitious, but I do the same routine for every match. Always, and they wanted to know where my mints. I said I only brought in 5, and you can have 1.
The other note that he has here that your husband and your son Max are huge Disney World fanatics.
How can you not want to go to Disney World?
Aw.
It's just the most magical, happy place on earth. And I think we love the sun and the summer. And, you know, after a full year of volleyball and recruiting, we like to take, 3-4 weeks to ourselves and just try to spend as much time family. And what's more family than Disney World? You know, we love to go down there. We, do the dining package. We go, we go all out. And my husband and my son, Max, they are very planned. And I'm not planned like they are. And so we are up at the crack of dawn. We are rope dropping. We are riding every ride. And I don't even get to shop. It's just like we're riding, and they're not much for shopping and everything, but we do enjoy ourselves and we love Disney, yes.
So I know I can just assume over the last 18 years, you've seen a lot of changes here at the university. Moving forward, what do you think that the players on your team and your fellow coaches see the university?
I think that they see changes right now that are emulating maybe something similar to what has done in the past. And I think there are a lot of things from the past that could help us in the future. Things that were done way back when, or when these players got here that they really liked, and they see that, hey, maybe that's not changing, where we have had a lot of changes and it has been difficult, but we keep talking to our players about what we can control and what we can do, and we try to make the best experience for the team as possible. We went to 2 amazing tournaments at the beginning of the season, one in Pensacola, Florida, and one in Minnesota. So we fundraise money. We try to make the best experience possible, playing top 25 teams, going to different places. And so that keeps our program on the straight and narrow and getting better, bigger, and keep going forward in that aspect. Then I feel that the girls have some kind of, we're still doing the same type of thing, we're still going, forward, and I think that the school will do that as well. I think, it's been a lot more positive in the last, couple months than it was, 6 months ago, and that's important. And we've tried to stay positive. And tell the team that, here's what we're doing. We're not changing a thing. We're still going to Florida. We're still getting our beach house. We're still doing this. We're playing top 25 teams, and we're still going to be good. We're still going to win. So that hasn't changed. And I think if you can just, ride the good times and bad times, because there are always going to be ups and downs and ebbs and flows to, every university and every program. And we just keep trying to stay, Even Steven, right?
Even Steven. I can't thank you enough for joining us today.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Yeah, giving us a little bit of insight into your very successful and well-known program. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
And thank you for joining us. Join us next time. Go Cards.